August the 11th, molting and eclipse. This month we tend to notice more feathers on the ground, as so many birds are now losing them. Londoners point to crows with missing primaries and dowdy-looking drake mallards. A large number of British birds molt when they have finished breeding, but there's great variation in the exact time and length of these various molts. The so-called disappearance of birds in August is partly due to molting, as some birds even become flightless and therefore are forced to hide away to avoid predators. Most molts are short and occur either during breeding, after, or before migrating, or possibly when the bird reaches its winter quarters. Willow warblers are the rare exception, undergoing two molts, one before they set off, and then a second when they arrive. Swans, geese, grebes, and ducks all tend to lose their flight feathers at the same time, and consequently, for a short time, they all become flightless. This is when we use the term eclipse. Geese and swans tend to molt while their goslings and cygnets are small. Male mallards enter their eclipse in June, but females wait until their ducklings are independent, which may well be this month. Many raptors have an almost continuous slow molt, as they cannot afford for anything to interfere with their flying prowess. Female peregrines and sparrowhawks molt while they are feeding and protecting their young on the nest, whereas the males, who need to fly to bring in food, wait a little longer. Gulls also vary as to when they lose their feathers. Herring gulls start in July and end in September, whereas lesser black-backed gulls wait until they reach their winter quarters. Larger gulls may take several years to gain their full adult plumage. This is why we see so many gulls with such a variety of different markings. August is a month when many birds may be in various stages of dress or undress, as well as showing a variety of unusual colour combinations. Flocks. August is inextricably associated with birds moving from one place to another. There may be a number of reasons for this, other than recently reared families coming together to teach young how to locate and catch food. The increased numbers obviously increase the probability of finding a new food source, whilst at the same time many eyes better protect the vulnerable from predators. In other instances, the numbers may be just building, waiting for a good weather slot before the whole group migrate together. In stubble fields, flocks of starlings, sparrows and wood pigeons are all now a common sight. Occasionally these may include a jay, or possibly even some linnets. Around the edge of London, more noisy flocks of rooks and jackdaws are getting noticed more. In open fields, flocks of lapwings sometimes overlap with groups of starlings and gulls. In London, murders of crows are a common sight even in parks. In gardens, we tend to notice bands of tits, possibly containing blue, coal, great, and long-tailed tits. In such parties, it's always worth looking out for marsh and willow tits, which more rarely join them. In woods, it is flocks of wood pigeons and chaffinches that are seen most often, but there may well be smaller family groups of chiffchaff, willow warbler, and possibly even tree creeper and goldcrests. Among groups of chaffinches, it is always worth looking out for redpolls. Along the Thames estuary, groups of waders are now moving south in ever-increasing numbers as the month progresses. Many of these will be small mixed flocks of redshank, curlew, godwit, sanderling, dunlin and knot. Birds that are occasionally in flocks of over 100 or more can include teal, mallard, shoveler, pochard and coot. Tufted ducks can sometimes reach astronomical numbers, with over 2,500 having been recorded. London's reservoirs and Barnes Wetland Centre are good places to look for such flocks. Massed roosts around the time of high tides provides one of the greatest spectacles of the month. In such situation, raptors, such as peregrine, hobby and marsh harriers, are quite likely to make an appearance. Arguably the most beautiful flocks are the vast congregations of waders. After the vast congregation of waders are those of swallows and martins, whose numbers are now starting to build on telegraph wires. Good weather and a suitable wind will result in them all disappearing south. Rarer flocks this month include thrushes, pied flycatchers, spotted flycatchers, and yellow wagtails. Yellow wagtails tend to roost together at night, and a flock of 400 or more was recorded at Coalhouse Fort in 2001, proving these rare events still do occur. Flocks of turtle doves and shrikes now seem stories from the past. Because of their sudden disappearance overnight, turtle doves were at one time thought to change into stock doves, and for similar reasons redstarts into bramblings. London's Victorian birdcatchers used to focus on these flocks, tracking birds to cage and then sell them. Favourites were goldfinches and linnets. Linnets were then occasionally caged with canaries to improve their song, and goldfinches were either blinded or had their tongues barbarically split to improve their soft ramblings.